Afternoon, we are live. I've got Dawn in the house, and I'm going to play Dawn this song that she's just asked for. So hopefully it works. Can you hear me?
I
Say yes,
can.
Dawn. You can.
Yes, Dawn, I can hear you.
That's all right. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. For it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. That's all we're getting today because the show's about you, Dawn.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
No, but it's a pleasure. So tell me, why did you choose that song, Dawn?
I've loved that song since I was very young, and the reason I like it is because it's about friendship. It's about being able to ask for support and not necessarily getting anything back. And it's part of my philosophy actually with my clients and my friends and my family that it's about collaboration. It's being able to get support. So that's why I chose the song, and I love it. It's a lovely
No,
song.
absolutely perfect. So during lockdown, we had this little group and we all met every day and that was like the theme tune. So brings back a lot of amazing memories. So yeah, what a great choice. What a great way to start the show too. So Dawn, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
So I'm Dawn Jarvis, and I'm known as a diverse nurse. I'm a registered nurse, children and adult, and I also have a diversity and healthcare leadership consultancy company, where I work with organisations around how they transform their strategy into action around diversity. It's all about making the most of the people that you've got, and also making the most of difference. I am also a podcast host and a YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, so there's a bit of media around that as well, where I talk to entrepreneurs and business leaders about who they are, what they do, and why they do it. And because I'm a nurse, I link that to their health and well-being.
Absolutely fantastic. An interesting guest the other week as well, didn't
I
you?
did. I did. I had Ashley Leeds on. He was amazing. Yes.
You don't need to say that. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, no. But it's is it strange having the tables turned?
Yeah, it is, and I think there's something. So I love hosting, so I do public speaking, and I love to talk. And I know one of my things around my business is allowing me to do the things I love doing, but it's also good to go on to other people's platforms as well. And actually it's quite relaxing to do it with somebody else because they're doing all the hard work, so I can just enjoy it. And I hope that makes me a good guest actually, because I know what goes into it. I know how hard
You,
work
you,
it is.
you know what it's like the other side, yeah. So all you can see is from my chest up. Underneath, my legs are going willy nilly.
I know,
but
I know.
so do you do live or do you record it?
So I record it at the moment, and Ashley and I were just talking, but I would like to do a few live as well, because there's nothing like the buzz you get from doing sort of like live speaking and things like that. So I would like to sort of move into that, because I think what I have is edited, and it's quite managed, and that's actually nice for the guests because they know what's going to happen. But I think there is something about doing it live. So I really admire you, Ashley, for doing it live.
I prefer the live because like you say, it's spontaneous, and then
Yeah.
Richard can come on and ask questions like that. So look, if anyone's done any color coordinating, Richard, it's going to be Dawn, because
Yeah.
this is my brand. So this is what I normally wear. So I don't even have to think. Wasn't it Steve Jobs that always wore a black T-shirt
He did. He did.
because he said it's one less thing to worry about. And that's the thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Richard, it certainly is. And I've had an idea, so I need to have a chat with you, sir. I need to have a chat with you. So thanks for coming along today. Okay, so I want to find more about this diverse nurse thing, but this is all about LinkedIn, and I want to know a little bit more about, what you're doing with LinkedIn. So do you use social media regularly, Lily?
Oh, I'm the social media queen. I love social media. I've been on LinkedIn since about 2010, and you helped me to find out how long I'd been on. I'd been on there. I used to work in corporate nursing and worked in the NHS for a long time. So I used it as a networking thing, I guess, while I was working corporately. So if I was working with some chief execs or something, I would, ask to connect with them on LinkedIn, just as a way of keeping in touch and also raising my profile. Since I started my business 2 years ago, LinkedIn's been fabulous. Actually, I've got quite a lot of work through LinkedIn, and it's also something you can ask someone if they're on LinkedIn, and if they're not on LinkedIn, it's something you can encourage people to do as well. And Ashley has come onto my platform and taught my sort of networking clients about LinkedIn, because I think you can use it. I think you can use it passively, but you can always, I love social media, so I'm out there. It's good. It's good to raise your profile. It's a fantastic visibility platform, I believe.
Yeah, and loads of friendly people on there. I
Absolutely.
run a LinkedIn local here in Sidmouth,
Yeah,
and I stood up in front of everybody and I said, look, I love LinkedIn because I made loads of connections, but those connections have turned into friends.
absolutely.
And some of these friends I've never met. It's all over Zoom and LinkedIn and stuff like that. But you build a decent relationship. And the thing is, right, I'm never, ever, ever going to buy from whoever it is who's my friend, and they're never, ever, ever going to buy from me because they're my friend. But we know people that need each other's services, and
Absolutely.
so what better way to recommend what someone does? If anyone ever needs someone to help them with their presenting skills when on the camera, it's Richard I go to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that's how it works in life. So why not mirror it online as well? So no, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, fantastic guest. Thank you. Okay, so you've said what you like about LinkedIn. So how often do you post your own content, Dawn?
Well, actually, this is a movable feast, actually, because I love. So before I was in business, I probably, I posted when I got the inspiration. I posted. Now I'm in business, I should probably post a little bit more than I do. So I'm working towards sort of 2 or 3 times a week. Um, over the summer, over just before the summer, I did do 3 times a week, and that was fantastic. But it's a discipline, isn't it? And I know you're all about the consistency,
Yep. Oh yeah.
stuff like that. And and this is something you've helped me with, actually. It's around me planning it, and being consistent, and having a consistent message about what I actually want to get across, which is a little bit at odds with my sort of like, I'll post when I get the inspiration, which is a bit how I am. If I'm very sort of like, oh, I fancy doing this, so I'll do it. So there's got to be, so I like to post spontaneously, but that, I think, underneath, and so that'll help me with the 2 or 3 times a week, there needs to be a plan as well. And I know that you support that sort of
Yeah,
framework. So yeah,
absolutely. And the thing is, people want to plan. People want to know where to find you. Is it the Great British Bake Off's back on again, isn't it?
yes,
And I think it's on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. Well, of course it's on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock because that's how they've always done it. They've always
yes,
been on Tuesdays at 8 o'clock. So when they bring back the new series, we know that in those cold winter evenings on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock, we get our favorite program and we can all start baking. If they turned
absolutely.
around, and said, "Oh, this week we'll put it on a Sunday in the morning, and then next week we'll put it on a Monday, and then the week after we'll put it on Saturday evening, after Anton Deck," and it's sort of like, well, hang on a minute, I don't know where I'm coming or going. And this is the same thing with when you're creating content. This is why this show is always 12:30 on a Tuesday. If that doesn't fit with you, I'm really sorry, but it's always there, and that's why we have catch up and stuff like that. So yeah, consistency is key. So do you get business as a result of what you do on LinkedIn, Dawn?
I do actually. And I just want to go back to something you said before. It's not necessarily through the people that I'm connected with, it's through people who know those people as well. And I think it's around how you can extend the relationships that you may make outside of LinkedIn, and it also gives you a focal point to sort of get back to them. I see my time in LinkedIn as an investment, a relationships. I have an online networking platform, the Diverse Business Network, and that is what we are about. We're about making those relationships and not necessarily knowing where they're going to go, but knowing that they will go somewhere, because I've had lots of things that haven't happened immediately, but they could happen 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line. So it's about investing in those relationships. So yes, definitely. I've also been on television. I've had a newspaper article, and I've also been asked to speak as well because of LinkedIn. So yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. And you've written a book.
I have, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
My book's called Nurture Your Network, and the reason I wrote it is it was part of my plan. It was on my bucket list to write a book, and when I thought about what I needed to write about, what I could write about, say write what you know, and what I know is that networking has been very successful both in my career in the NHS and also with establishing and continuing my business. So I never knew that there were networking organisations. So that was a business. I worked in the NHS and did not realise that was a thing. However, it's quite formulaic. Dare I say, it could be quite masculine. And I think some people it suits, some people it doesn't. And I'm with the people it doesn't suit. And because I'm more about, let's make those relationships and see how they go. Let's collaborate, let's share, let's make a community, and opportunities will come from that.
Yeah, absolutely. They say every day's a school day.
Yes.
Okay. Richard just said it's called appointment viewing. So in the world of TV, then the Great British Bake Off has got 8 o'clock on a Tuesday. So there you go. So your book, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to ask you this because my book's coming out soon.
Yeah.
Did you have a launch party?
I did. I had it online because I released it in lockdown.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I sort of made an event of it and used it as an opportunity to introduce myself. So the way I think of the book is that it's, I actually gave it away free when I did the launch party. It's a way of introducing yourself and what you're about, because I was I still am a nurse, but I was working as a nurse, and so people knew me for that. They didn't know me for networking.
Right,
So
okay.
it was that was my opportunity to say, well, here I am, I have my own business, and this is what I'm about.
So people do know me for LinkedIn. So should I dress as a nurse?
I think that would make an amazing launch, but it might not get you exactly what you want. I'd come just for that.
Oh dear. Anyway, that's another thing. That's another thing. Anyway, so this diverse nurse thing. Go on, tell us a little bit about this and why you call yourself a diverse nurse.
So I do consultancy about diversity and equity and inclusion with organisations, and it's because I believe that we are enriched by diversity of thought, diverse experience, diverse in communities, and I'm all about getting the best out of people and the world. In healthcare, we live in a multicultural society, and some things aren't the same for everybody, but we've got the opportunity to do that, particularly in healthcare and public services. But there's another thing around that about diversity. So I'm a woman, I'm a nurse, I'm a business owner, I'm a daughter, I'm a mother, and I've got lots of strings to my bow. I've got a business, but I've also got a podcast, I've got a consultancy, but I've also got a networking platform. So I'm not just one thing, and that might me being a polymath, but that might be that. But I think that everybody has lots of different strings to your bow, and you shouldn't be just confined to one thing. There's lots of things you can do, and if you want to, you can do anything that you want to. I really believe that you shouldn't be confined to just doing one thing. You shouldn't just, I worked in the NHS, it was great, I loved it, but that isn't all I do. So that, I think that's really, really important.
No, I love that. We do tend to pigeonhole people, don't we? And I'm just thinking of, we were talking about TV, and certain actors end up playing the same sort of role all the time, and you do get pigeonholed. So yeah, you're quite right. We do need to be more diverse and do those different things. Now, this networking platform.
Yes.
What's all this about? How did you get into networking? So hang on. Are you saying to me that you didn't realize there was such a thing as BNI?
No, I didn't. No, I had no idea.
Brilliant.
I had no idea. It wasn't part of my world at all. But for the public sector, I didn't have a business. I know that, and what I realized is what I was doing was networking, that it really helped me in my career. That's what people had encouraged me to do. People had encouraged me to have a coach, have a mentor, to utilize my network, which I think that's where people need to start to utilize their personal network. So my philosophy is, there's something you want to do, and I believe we can do anything, that you should, find out what successful people who are doing that, what they're doing and where they're doing it. And you should use them as role models and try and get to know them. So in your career, if somebody's doing the career that you want to do, you need to go and talk to them, don't you? And that's, and that served me very, very well. And in my business, that's not my business. I utilise my personal networks and said, I'm starting a business, and just had a chat with people around that. And that's how I got my first contract in consultancy, from actually doing that. So that's a tip that's in the book, and a tip that I say all the time. But I think people don't realise that networking is a thing. And it's not just about, I think it's really important to know who you are, what you do, why you do it, and to be able to say that concisely and succinctly, so people know what you're about. I think that's important, but that's not what it's all about. It's about making relationships and also offering help, which is why I chose Lean On Me.
Yeah, no, I love that. Absolutely superb. Richard loves your books.
Thank you.
He loves your books. I was talking to someone yesterday. I was helping them with their LinkedIn profile, and so I've got this new service where I do a long video of everything that I see on their profile, and then I meet up with them and we go through it. And so this person comes on screen and hi, everything in your video, absolutely spot on, totally agree. The trouble is, I don't like telling people about myself. What would you say to people like that, Dawn?
I think that you should think about, if you are feeling that way, that you shouldn't necessarily feel about you're telling them about yourself. You're actually telling them how you can help them. So what is it about you that can be of benefit to them? So you're not telling people about yourself, you're sharing things about you that might be helpful around that.
And this is what I was trying to get over, because they've got this business and they help business owners to grow their business, and there's a money back guarantee. And it's a 12-month program, and if at the end of that 12 months you haven't grown by the amount we've agreed at the beginning, you'll get all your money back. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible.
Exactly.
So and it's sort of like, it's going to work, because you're not going to spend 12 months with me helping me. And I said, I can't see any of that from your profile. Oh yeah, but I don't like to talk about it. And I'm like, no, you've got to. And that's probably a whole chapter or two in your book, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, because I think people are good at whatever they're doing. So everybody on LinkedIn is an outlier as far as I'm concerned, because they're on LinkedIn and they are willing to share something about themselves, even if it's their name or their business name or their job title. So not everybody does that. There are people who don't have any social media presence whatsoever and don't believe in it, so because they don't want to tell. So it's around developing. So what this sounds slightly negative, but I don't mean it to be. Why would someone get to know you? What is the benefit to them? And so then you need to think about, so what do I do? What do I give people? How do I help people? And I was saying to my daughter this morning, when I talk to people about their work or their business, I literally ask them, so what's the job? What is the job? What do you do? And if you didn't do it, what would happen? Really, and that's the thing. What is the skill that you are bringing? And we all have them. We all bring something totally unique and insight, knowledge, support for people. And it could be, I help people to write their LinkedIn profiles. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And as a result, they get more visibility. And also, I suppose, what's the outcome of what you do? So, so I believe that I help people to be able to have the confidence to network, and as a result, they can grow their career or their business. That's the outcome.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we forget that because we sort of like, oh yeah, so I need to say that I'm a LinkedIn trainer. No one cares that you're a LinkedIn trainer. What they care about is getting results on LinkedIn. What they
Yeah,
care about is growing their business. What they care about is having more money coming in.
yeah.
And it's that sort of thing. And I love that, giving people the confidence. What do you do when you're not at work and you're not on LinkedIn? What does Dawn Jarvis do in her spare time, if she gets any? I'm
Well,
struggling to see how you get time.
it's tricky, because when I worked in the NHS, it was a big job, and I worked all the time, and I would say I slept when I wasn't working. But actually, since actually being a business owner, it's been so important that you have to have a balance for your own health and well-being as a business owner. So I make time for my friends and my family to see them. So I enjoy seeing my friends and talking to them. I enjoy seeing friends and family who've got nothing to do with my business or my work, because I like that perspective. I think it's important. I like to read. I love books. I've got loads of books, and when I get time, I read them. And I like to write as well, and there's
We got
I
another
like.
book coming.
Well, I'd like to update the book I have, but I'd also like to talk more about the confidence that people need, because I feel I've met so many people who've got brilliant businesses or brilliant business ideas, and it's not that they're not skilled. It's about the confidence to be able to actually go there and do it. And I'd also like to help people to get contracts in the NHS, because I think there's so many brilliant sort of health and wellness businesses, and I mean that in the widest sense, that could really help people stay healthy and improve their well-being. And I used to be a commissioner in the health service, so there's something about I know things that people don't know. I know how to network. I know how to get those opportunities. So I'd like to be able to help people to do that. But going back, it's sort of like, I love to read. I love doing my podcast. I love talking. I love meeting new people and doing new things. And I like football. There you go.
Which is the team?
Arsenal.
Okay, I know nothing about football. I support Leeds. Enough said. Enough said. I've got one more question for you, but before we do that, I just want to go and let people know who we've got here next week. We've got the lovely Tristan Griffiths. I can't even say it. He helps people to create content, but without overwhelming them. So I'm looking forward to it. He's a guy that absolutely loves talking, talks at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So you won't be watching that show on a speedy catch up. Dawn, my final question to you. What tip would you give your 16-year-old self?
I would say you don't have to do it all by the time you're 17. There's time to work it out. You're brilliant as you are. The thing to do is to develop the talents that you've got and believe in yourself.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, you put a bit of thought into that one. Absolutely. And I think when you're 16, you don't believe in yourself, and
Yeah.
so yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much, Dawn. Apparently, Arsenal are top of the table.
So
Did you know that?
I did
you
know that.
Oh, you did. All right. Excellent. So there you go. Dawn, thank you so much for being my guest. Been lovely to have a little natter with you. I will see everybody next week, but thanks very much indeed. Cheerio, Dawn.
Thank you so much, Ashley, and thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.